Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening. I'm doing a quick video. It's in response to my last video of the Commonwealth Ambassadors mission, proving to you that from the beginnings of the relationship construct, when it was publicized in 2016, that from there to now, the mission has been that nut and Todge change policy, global policy, but mostly American policy and Commonwealth policy, including Australia, which they have done. We have now both proof of American and Australian policy change based on the payments through Archwell. Archwell's existence and foundation was literally to change policy. And the video of Nut and Todge in South Africa, September 2019, while they were working royals before Megxit was even implemented, before they moved anywhere, while they were still living at Frogmore, supposedly. There's a video of them being called Commonwealth ambassadors, and the interviewer already selecting the wording, the British interviewer already selecting the wording of mental health and of targeting the youth, and trying to kind of make this cultural shift through compassion and humanity. And then they continued on through the development of Archwell, which wasn't developed by them. It was developed by, I'm sure, the Palace team, because, I mean, James Holt is British after all. There's not much to really look into there. It's pretty black and white. Anyway, the reason why I'm doing this quick video is because I think it was Libby from Florida who has some really good questions. She asked me, or asked in general, to maybe look into the articles or the initial articles in 2016 and try to make a connection as to how they were set up, which I'll quickly do now, with basically the major article being from Ruth Stiles from Daily Mail or Daily Fail, and it was that fresh out of Compton or whatever the hell, straight out of Compton. And then there was another one from Daniel Bates. I think the first point I want to make, obviously, is Daily Mail is British. The excuse and the justification is that this is the American branch. But I'm going to prove to you that Ruth Stiles and Daniel Bates work across both operations in the UK and America, and their main employer is the British operations, and they receive instructions from there. And so they've even done articles for British Daily Mail. So this is going to be really quick because it's just, quite obvious. Daily Mail is Royal Rota, and receive instruction from the Palace, or Palace Communications. So it's very, very straightforward. This is not to mention the court case that Meghan won was for, was it £1 or $1? I mean, it was a complete farce, the whole court case and all of it. Even her fucking lawyer, all of it was just a sham and implemented to really give them credibility, their story credibility, and to convince you that it was somehow real. Yeah, including that brooch on the outdoor jacket of Princess Michael of Kent that, Meghan saw during lunch. when they were introduced in the house. Oh, I shouldn't say house. They don't live in houses. I mean, a palace. Yeah, so you can see how this was a staging, but I'll show you now just very quickly, just through the connections of Ruth Stiles and Daniel Bates with British media. In 2013, International Business Times put up a article about Daily Mail writer attacked on Twitter following plagiarism complaint. As you can see, this is Daily Mail Britain, UK Daily Mail. A writer for the UK's Daily Mail website is taking some Twitter heat after apparently rehashing an article from cracked.com. As the Next Web reported, Ruth Stiles posted a story on Sunday about the world's worst tourists, citing examples of travellers doing such horrendous things, The concept of the story was indistinguishable from an article published by a day earlier by Cracked writer XJ Selman. Here we are with proof that Ruth Stiles, or Ruth at Ruth Travels, was writing for the British Daily Mail prior to the staged article of racism in America against Meghan Markle. You can even see here dailymail.co.uk, an article on August the 28th, 2024 by Sean Cohen and Ruth Stiles, but it's for the Daily Mail UK site. Obviously it changes to Daily Mail Australia because I'm reading it from Australia. However, it is the UK site. So it's not like these journalists are separate from UK Daily Mail. They are one of the same. And UK Daily Mail is Royal Rota. But in 2015, Ruth Stiles is also for Daily Mail UK, writing about the royal family. So, yeah. She usually writes gossip rags. It's not really journalism. In a sense, she's a reporter, nothing more. Just wanting to see, either way, Royal Rota. No, it just seems to be all reporting. I want to note that Ruth Stiles is actually British, not American. She has her career starting out in City University, London, between 2007 and 2008. And she was first an editor at African Woman. I haven't been able to find what that is, or if that still exists, that publication. But then the next one was, or one of the next ones was The Ecologist. The Ecologist is run by the Resurgence Trust, and it's a British company. So it's in Britain, it's in UK, and Ruth Stiles initially had her career in the UK, which then makes sense if she moved from all of these small publications to Daily Mail UK, and then possibly moved to the US, or she's writing for US publications in the UK. Either way, she works for Daily Mail UK, and she is British. The next one is Daniel Bates. He also works for Daily Mail UK. He's with Rebecca English of all people, of all journalists. I don't know if we can call them journalists anymore. They're just paid to write propaganda. Daniel Bates and Rebecca English for Daily Mail UK. So he gets instruction from Daily Mail UK, Royal Rota. A bit more about Daniel as per his own website. He's an award-winning journalist based in New York with 2 decades of experience working across 2 continents. Which continents are those? Has appeared in places like The Guardian, The Daily Beast, The Times. So they're all, well, Guardian, I don't think so, but Daily Mail and The Times are Royal Rota. The Telegraph are Royal Rota. Okay, which he has been a correspondent since 2010 for the UK newspaper and the separate online operation based in America. They say separate, but... So he's actually working both for Daily Mail UK and the American Daily Mail at the same time, simultaneously. So if they were to be assigned a job from UK Daily Mail, they could just publish it in the US Daily Mail. And you think it's somehow separated. But at the same time, almost all of his journalism is to do with the British papers and British Royal Rota. Daniel's journalism for Daily Mail UK is almost everywhere. All they say is that he's based in New York. It's just literally positioning. That's all it is. So the racial articles that were posted, really, it was with intention that they had the American counterparts, or so-called American counterparts, writing these articles to say, oh yeah, but it's in America. It's got nothing to do with the Royal Rota, the Palace communications or directions or instructions. It's to do with Daily Mail. It's a separate branch from UK, when really it isn't at all. It's exactly the same, and they cross over with their journalism, or so-called journalism, and their articles. So, yeah. Another thing to point out is Daniel Bates is not against Nut or Todge, that he has opinions about Ngozi Fulani and the ridiculousness of that situation with Lady Susan Hussey, calling it, welcome to I think modern Britain. And he posts comments in support of Todge. So there's no real animosity or attack, so to speak, against on Nut. Daniel Bates took part in a great debate for Mail Plus podcast alongside a former chief prosecutor for the Crown Prosecution Service, talking about the status of the Prince Andrew case. And he covered the Virginia Giuffre Prince Andrew situation, Epstein situation as well for Daily Mail UK. You can see here, Daily Mail UK, Ghislaine, child sex predator, by Sam Greenhill, Stephen Wright, and Daniel Bates in New York. For Daily Mail UK. December 30th, 2021. Again, I should point out that Daniel Bates is also British, from Wokingham. So both of these journalists working supposedly for US Daily Mail are British and have supposedly moved to the US. That could be true that they've moved to the US. It's highly odd that two British journalists reporting for Daily Mail UK are racist regarding an American woman in America when they're British. But that's been covered up too, obviously. And it's all about it being Daily Mail US and not Daily Mail UK, them supposedly being American rather than British. Do you see how it all doesn't make any sense? So if we were to go down this line of that they were being racist, these people in particular, because you would more than likely think it wasn't exactly the Daily Mail that was racist. It was the individuals and the journalists that were, or reporters that were posting these things. They're both British. And as well, Daniel Bates has spoken out against Ngozi Fulani, the fact that she is British. And so the question of race, or asking where was she from, could have been a genuine question, seeing she was British, but she's pretending to be African. So it makes sense that, well, for me, it makes sense, my own opinion, that Susan Hussey asked that question, but also that Daniel himself is not racist and he's just a journalist. But he's also British, working for Daily Mail UK, and has won awards in Britain for his journalism. And Ruth Stiles is British. So there you go. The whole thing's been staged, because this is also, I will always keep telling you, it's Royal Rota. It's Royal Rota. He is again saying that he works for a British newspaper in the USA. Here are the multiple posts by Daniel Bates, while of course being in America, saying that he's a British journalist. This was after the fact that he did that racist article under Royal Rota instruction, saying he's a British journalist to almost everyone. Hi, I'm a British journalist. I'm a British writer. Working on a story. I'm a British journalist. I'm a British journalist. I'm a British journalist. Based in New York, working on this tragedy. I'm a reporter with the Daily Mail, a British newspaper. Is there any way of speaking? That's 2014. 2012, I'm a British journalist based in New York. So 2012 to 2017, he has been a British journalist based in America. I think we're done here. Also important to point out, I think it's very important to point out that Nut and Todge, while they were in Africa, so not them, put through the application of their two court cases. His against the tabloids for phone hacking or whatever bullshit that was, and Nut with her attacks against Daily Mail, or the lying of Daily Mail. And Daily Mail, the court case wasn't about the racial situation. It wasn't about the racial situation, because you can't sue somebody that you've hired. But also that it was actually about the letter, which was all just made up anyway. I mean, that whole thing was just made up. But I just do want to point out that it's very strategic, no? The lawyers, the palace lawyers, because they do say in Netflix that the palace lawyers objected, or was it Spare, that the palace lawyers objected to Todge trying to file a lawsuit. But his lawsuit was filed with Nuts, so there's no objection. And it's very strategic. Both court cases, they were filed at the exact same time. I think 1 day difference. Let me see here. Yep, despite all these objections, Nut and Todge are permitted to apply their cases by 27th and 29th of September 2019, while they're working royals under palace lawyers or law firms contracted by the monarchy. I mean, it was a kangaroo court. It wasn't real, these court cases. I mean, there's no actual standing. If you really look back and and watch all of those testimonials of, especially of Todge, his stuff could have been debunked so easily. He talked about collusion with the British newspapers and the British government, when in fact he's colluding with American government and Australian government right now and committing foreign interference and treason. I mean, any opposing lawyer would have debunked that in a second if it was real. In a second. Because him simply saying it was collusion and making those allegations and accusations would then invite them to say, well, I'm going to completely discredit you, because that's what lawyers do. Didn't happen, did it? The same with Nut and this bullshit about the letter. Shocking. Supposedly she won over a technicality. Okay. And then she won £1 or $1. So this whole charade of being attacked by the media was planned and executed by the palace. On both accounts, the statements, the court cases, through Royal Rota, dailymail.uk or .co.uk, and British journalists in America, supposedly. I can't obviously verify their whereabouts, and I don't want to. But you get the gist. So while spouting in that video, South African video, my last video that I put out called Commonwealth Ambassador's Mission, showcasing that they were already by then creating their identity for American policy change and the foundations of Archwell and Megxit, while they were working royals and so forth. While they were in South Africa until October the 2nd. So they actually, the law firm in UK, or the palace lawyers or advisors, put through those applications while they were on holiday doing a royal tour in South Africa. Are you going to keep blaming these two people for what's happened? Wasn't it like September the 24th or 23rd up until October? On day 9. So, 10-day tour starting from September the 23rd the 23rd up until October the 2nd, and September the 27th and 28th, the applications for the court cases were put through. Which is funny because shouldn't they initially go through some sort of mediation or settlement if the intention wasn't to go through to the courts? Interesting.